The Diabetes Nerd podcast is proud to be sponsored by the Eversense 365-day implantable continuous glucose monitor brought to you by Essentia Diabetes Care. I've been using the Eversense CGM since April of 2025, and I love it. It's the only CGM device that lasts a year. The sensor was placed just under the skin on my arm. The transmitter sits on my skin with this silicone adhesive, and I can take it on and off. I love it. Learn more about Eversense 365 at eversensecgm.com. Welcome to the Diabetes Nerd podcast. I'm your host, Ginger VIEIRA, and with me today is Tara Mayo, my bestie and business partner, and our guest, Erika Szumel, here to talk about amazing things like running your first marathon with type 1 diabetes and just being an awesome all-around gal.
Wow, that was a big introduction. Thank you for that. Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
Tell me, right off the bat, tell me how many years you lived with type 1.
I have to do the math. 5 years, 25 years.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know we were like disease twins.
Yeah, so I just turned 29 last month and I was diagnosed when I was 4, so 25.
Oh, how funny. So I'm 39 and I was diagnosed when I was 13. So we're like
We
10 years
yeah,
difference
we
in
missed each
life.
other's.
But yeah.
Wait, so
Okay.
what year were you diagnosed?
1999.
I was in 2000, so we were close. We were diagnosed near the same
Mm.
time. That's
Ah,
funny.
okay. All right. Pretty close. So that probably means my math of 25 years from my diagnosis is
I
wrong
was gonna say.
because I don't do math well. Tara, can you figure out when I was actually do some math later? We'll break out a spreadsheet and one of those big calculators for this.
I feel like you need like one of
Uh,
those big, didn't Hershey bar like have a big, huge calculator when I
yeah.
was in school? I'm old enough.
And mine needs, as soon as I say like enter and at the result, it should just say check with Tara because you probably typed this in wrong.
So
I have
Uh,
a big question, like right out of the gate, just as a runner myself. What made you decide to run a marathon?
so many things. So I think I've, not to be corny, but I feel like I've lived my life in a way of like definitely doing the things that like make me happy, and sometimes I think I do like a little bit of like a thrill and a challenge and stuff like that. And uh when I was working at Beyond Type 1, which is the team that I ran on, I was just like feeling, right, all these really positive things from like working there and like getting to know more people in the community. And like it really just was warming my heart from the inside out. And when Tiana asked me about being on the team, I was like, I could never run a marathon. That is insane. I am not a runner. I was never a runner growing up. I would avoid those sports. I was last in gym class. I was running purposely in the back with the kids that were running slower to just like cheer them on to get them to finish. So it really was a combination of things. I just was like so, I think, heartwarmed by like the community and being inspired by it. And I was like, you know what? I want to try to prove this to myself. And that kind of was it. I was like, once I said I was gonna do it, I was fully locked in until marathon day.
what was your current activity level at that time of agreeing? Like, what was your?
Yeah, I mean, I'm active, so I'd say I'm active every day. At the time, I think I was going to the gym primarily, like every morning for maybe an hour or so. I really love yoga too, so that was like part of my active lifestyle as well, was like going to the gym and then going to yoga maybe at night.
Okay. So just for like people listening who are like, well, I could only run a marathon if I can already run at least 9 miles. Like how many miles were you running before you said yes to a marathon?
I was running 0, so
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I had actually never run a race before the marathon, not even a 5K. So I went from 0 to 100, and people thought I was crazy for it, but it was fun and it totally worth it.
So what did like, two questions. It's a two-part question. What, like, did you have somebody write you a training plan? And like, where did your mileage start out? Like, what do you remember, like what your first week looked like?
Yeah, so I asked Tiana, who had been running the program, and she had run the race the year before. So I joined Beyond Type 1, and then I got to cheer Tiana on, and she really inspired me after I watched it the one time. I was like, wow, this is incredible. I want to be a part of this. But I didn't sign up at that point. It was still, she had to convince me. But um, I asked her like recommendations, and there's a lot online. But one that was recommended by a lot of people was a program called Run with Hal, and it's an app, and you can
Yep.
fully customize it. And I really love it. I've used it since marathon to for other races that I've run.
Hal
Um,
Higdon? Was it Hal Higdon?
yes, yep.
Yes, yeah, famous.
Yeah, and you can customize it completely. So you can say like which days you want to run on, which days you don't. You know, if you have blackout dates, like if you're going on vacation or something and you don't want to run, you could put it all in. And essentially, however you're logging your runs, so if you're hitting roughly the time that Hal is setting for you based off a bunch of other things that you plug in, then you get kind of like a score at the end, which doesn't matter, of course. Like I was looking at it like I just want to have a plan and stick to it and do my best, and that's what I did. But it was motivating to actually see like, okay, I did all my runs this week, or I didn't meet all my run goals. That's okay. Next week I'll pick it back up. You know, it kind of was holding me accountable. And I think my starting point was, I think it was maybe like you run a mile and a half, you run 2 miles, you run a mile and a half, you run 3 miles, and they slowly increase your mileage week by week. So it's essentially like a few short runs, then one long run, which starts at like 5 miles. And then once you get closer to race day, you get up to 18 to 20, but you'll never go over 20 miles because of fatigue and injury. So you'll never actually run a marathon before marathon day.
Do you remember what that first month was like? Of just the first month of running that much?
So I think it was an adjustment because obviously I'm not a runner, like I said. But
You are now.
I really enjoyed it. I liked that it was a challenge, and I really enjoyed it, and it just kept me so much more active, which of course like helped my blood sugars and how I was feeling in general. So
Yeah.
it was fun. I enjoyed it for the most part.
Were your like first run, were you able to run nonstop right out of the gate? Did you have to walk run?
Yeah, I definitely walked and ran every single, probably almost every run, I'm going to be honest. And that was something that I had to learn over time, was that it's okay if you walk, and that
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of people out there that advocate for it and that are saying it's totally okay. Like you're covering a lot of miles. Your body might need it. You might need to catch your breath, whatever it is. For us, sometimes too, it's like I had to eat a fruit snack, and I'm like, running and trying to do that is a skill that I've mastered. But at first, I was like, no way, I'm gonna slow down here, and kind of accepting that it's okay to walk and to take those moments. It actually helped me get a lot further in my training.
I was gonna say, like, that is if you feel if someone's in the mindset of like, if I can't run the whole mile, I failed, versus running and walking, it's like your future of how many miles you're gonna accomplish is so much bigger than holding yourself to this standard of perfection.
Totally. And it can be motivating to be like, I want to run this whole thing, but it can also be very motivating to just say, I'm going to run as much as I can. And then I'm going to be honest with myself. If I feel like I'm pushing it, or something's hurting, or like my breath isn't there, then I'm going to walk for a little bit, and that's okay. And then you pick it back up when you can, if you can. And if not, tomorrow's another day. You can try again.
Yeah, that's really powerful to point out.
Yeah. And I was like, my whole goal for the marathon was not to hit a time, it was to finish the race. And I am
Yeah.
so lucky that I finished standing and smiling, and that's the probably like my proudest achievement, because that's all I wanted to accomplish. I had no desire to hit a certain time. I was like, oh, it would be nice if I was in this group, of course, but once you get to race day, things are so different. You can't control all the factors and all the things that are going to be different from when you're training at home. So you kind of have to really roll with the punches, and it's fun and it's exciting, but yeah, it's different, it's a challenge.
I
Well,
feel like
wait.
people that have like a time in mind and they push themselves really hard, I feel like that's where a lot of injuries can come into play.
Yeah.
Um,
And burnout. And you
and
burn out
burnout.
before the race even happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, there's like, if you're a seasoned runner and you have times and you're trained forever and you run all year round, it's different. Of course, like, please go for those goals because I know how exciting and awesome it is to hit those. But yeah, if you're like newer and you're just kind of doing your thing, or maybe you're taking it like it's a bucket list thing, which was kind of what it was for me, then yeah, I think there's no real need to focus on a time. It's just train yourself, get through the race, finish as best as you can. And on top of that, manage your blood sugars. So
Yeah, so I was gonna say, okay, there's two things I wanna put a pin in all the things that are different on race day and make sure we hit that. But first, I wanna ask you, how did you go about in the first month versus month 4, right, when you had some learning under your belt of managing your blood sugar during your training?
yeah, so I remember at first I actually was like driving myself pretty high, and I was struggling when I would go high, of course, like coming down after and hours later, because I really was just like trying to avoid the lows way too much.
Yeah, yeah,
And the other thing that I had to learn entirely for just as a normal human being, aside from diabetes, was the fueling aspect, which obviously plays a big role in diabetes and blood sugar management. So it was
yeah.
kind of a lot of things happening at once. I had no idea how like intricate fueling is for long runs. I had no idea. Anytime I run, a lot of times in the morning when I work out, I'm fasting because I just prefer not to have food in my body. Also, of course, lots of blood sugar and insulin challenges if I eat something. But I was fasting my runs and I was trying to drive myself higher, and it became hard quickly because I would be tired. I'd have to go to the
Yeah,
bathroom. I'd be thirsty, and it wasn't
yeah.
helping my training. So I think I
Yeah, and
learned pretty quickly.
I want to state for people that like fasted exercise, which I'm very fond of and do every day, has its place for exercise that's basically under an hour,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
maybe hour and a half if it's walking and, like I walk my dogs and then I jump rope fasted and that might go over an hour, but I'm walking, right? But beyond that is when you start demanding that your body does something that's, it's endurance, right? And then that's when you have to start thinking of yourself not as a type 1 trying to just manage their blood sugar, but as an athlete demanding a lot from your body, and you have to start learning how to fuel for performance, not disease.
yes, entirely. And it was all so new to me. Um, I the most I had probably ever like walked, ran, or distance had really ever been like maybe 3 to 5 miles, I'd say. So then when I was getting into the 5+ territory, I was like, okay, I really need to be like strapping in here. Because I kind of think that that's probably the spot where you might need to start fueling. Not everybody does. That was the other thing, is like I had to learn for myself what made sense, right? Like I think there were periods of time where I knew I could go a lot longer and I didn't need carbs, or I didn't need the energy goo or anything, because it was just going to make me feel slower, or maybe send my blood sugar up, which would also slow me down.
Yeah.
So it kind of became a real balancing act between, like you're saying, do I need this because I am running and doing an endurance sport right now and it's going to help me keep going? But also, what is my blood sugar? And is it going to potentially set me up for some real challenges in another 2 miles or so that,
Right.
could really impact me and ruin my race? So it
Hmm.
was a lot of trial and error for the first few months of that.
Tara, can you tell us? So, for listeners, Tara has lots and lots of experience of running marathons and ultra marathons and supporting other people and helping them learn how to fuel. Can you tell us what the like overarching strategy of fueling is when you don't have to mix diabetes into it?
Yeah. So so typically you would want to fuel about like every 45 minutes. And then depending on who you're working with, the caloric intake would vary. So like for myself, every 45 minutes, I knew that I need to take in about 90 to 120 calories. That's all fast acting. So like the goos and stuff like that. For a marathon, like if you start getting into the ultra level, that's where you want to start alternating fast acting with real food. So you might do like a ball of rice with scrambled tofu or scrambled egg in it, so you're getting some fast acting and some long acting in there at the same time. I sound like I'm talking about insulin
I
right now.
know. Yeah. Quick digesting and slow digesting, maybe we
Yeah.
could say.
And
Yeah.
and so depending on each individual, you want to figure that out. And you want to stay up with that like 45 to 60 minutes. Because I was thinking like, oh, some of us might think, if some people living with type 1 could say, I could run 5 miles fasted and then I'll start to take my fuel. But what would happen is you'd be behind at that point.
Yeah.
So you would want to start right out of the gate 45. You could start fasted, and then that first 45 to 60 minutes is when you would start taking in some calories and keeping track of that. And also, you're training how to eat or drink while you're running. Some people can't do that. So that's part of the training process too.
Learning
Yeah.
how to do that.
The other thing I learned really quickly too was I still haven't mastered this, I'm sure you have, but the hydration portion of it and, you know, when to drink water. I know there's like ways to calculate, of course, like how much salt your body's losing out, like, but based on your output of energy. But that part was also kind of tricky for me because I, again, was used to not running with food or water on me. And then, of course, I was like, wait, but I'm going to need even just like the tiniest bit of something on a long run, you know? So I started running with like a vest with a bottle or like the handheld ones and stuff like that. And that was also kind of tricky because I noticed when I would almost drink too much water how it might make me feel. And then, of course, having to use the bathroom and stuff, which isn't always convenient on a long run. But
Do you ever get cramps? I would be worried about cramping from
so
drinking too much water.
I didn't until race day, which was awful. I cramped so hard, my calves were killing me. Yeah, race day was a whole thing. So
Okay.
Did you have a plan like during the race, like how to handle going low or highs?
yes, so I had packed so much stuff on me. I had a fanny pack full of goos and like transcend gels and all of the quick and also energy gel stuff. I had so much stuff on me. I ate most of it within the first 5 miles because if you want me to go into it, I'll tell you what happened on race day. So
Yeah.
on race day, it was a normal morning, of course, but my adrenaline hit, I think, and I was really excited and nervous. And so those hormones really just took me and they smacked me across the face. And so I was going high all morning. We finally get to like the start village area and I'm crashing, but my CGM's not giving me a number. And I didn't have a BGM on me. So I was calling Dexcom and I was like, hey, what do you want me to do here? And they were like, well, did you check the site and did you do that? I was like, yes, I've had this disease for a long time. I did all the things. I need help. And they were like, okay, well, like, there's nothing we can really do. But I had taken ibuprofen as a preventative, which typically doesn't affect CGM, right? But the guy said
Yeah.
that maybe that had something to do with like the connection. Because you know how like aspirin does that?
Tylenol is the one
Tylenol.
that throws it off. Yeah. Acetaminophen.
Yeah. So it was interesting. But anyways, my CGM had no readings on it. I got to the start line and it reconnected and it said I was like 90 and going down. And then I actually started to feel it because I was like, whoa, I'm like not right. So we're going across the finish line and I'm eating goose already. Waiting for my
Wait,
CGM,
the start line. You're going across the start line?
the start, the
Eating
finish.
goose already?
Yeah, I'm starting to eat goose and I'm eating goose already. Like whatever
Yeah.
was in my pack, I was eating. And again, my CGM was kind of coming in and out. Eventually, it stayed. Thankfully, it stayed. But I was low for or not low. I was like 75 straight for like 7 miles, which was scary. I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be higher than that.
No, that's so distracting too.
Yeah.
You can't just relax and enjoy your run when that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's how my race started. And to be honest, I did not see a crazy spike. I went up. I went up probably to like 250, which is high. But I came back down and I was maybe like, I ended the race at like 150, 160 area. But I
Okay.
didn't see a crazy like 300 plus, like ketones, things like that. Nothing like that. Probably because I was moving the entire time. But
Yeah, and you were consuming a lot of
What does
fuel.
it feel like for you when you're in the 70s?
So I feel shaky and I feel weak to the point where I'm like I don't think I could do anything right now, you know?
Yeah. So
It,
here, yeah, here you are trying to like run your first marathon ever, and anyone not living with diabetes would be having, they could be having gastrointestinal issues that day. Their adrenaline's going to kick in, and there's going to be a bunch of nerves and different issues for them. But you have all of those issues plus what it feels like to be running at 70.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was
And there's the head game of that too. Like just knowing you're 70
I
is
know.
just makes you feel even more fragile
Yeah,
personally.
it was a crazy morning and I was worried at that point because I was like if I keep going low, I'm gonna have to stop obviously and I'm gonna have to stop and find somewhere with sustainable food because
Yeah.
there's people lined across the race the whole time because it's the biggest marathon and there's tons of people, but they're all strangers. They don't know that like people with type 1 diabetes, like something bad could quickly happen. Of course, I could go to a medical tent and that would have probably been my next step would be like, do you guys have anything here to help me, maybe get back into range and then I'll continue on. But that's the worst part was, yeah, it was kind of like, I hope I don't have to stop because I don't want to. I just wanted to keep going and give myself like the best chance of finishing at a decent time, even though I wasn't going for time.
Yeah.
But it was a frustrating morning.
It sounds like you handled it really well, though, Erica. You got yourself, boom, way up there.
Yeah,
And then from there, you can do something about that 250. And it doesn't mean you have to lay down on the sidewalk for 20 minutes and wait for your blood sugar. And then you got down. And so my twin brother's partner, she is an ultra Ironman maniac with type 1. And she studies the hell out of like crazy intense exercise physiology. She'll send me a podcast. I'm like, Lauren, I can't. This is way
too much.
deep. This is way more than I want to know about
Oh,
the
that's
human
funny.
body. But she was telling me last time she was visiting that even non diabetic athletes in Ironmans and marathons want their blood sugar up around like 170, 180 for their best performance.
Mm,
And so they carb load to get themselves really high. That's really high for a non-diabetic,
that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So it
didn't know
sounds like
that.
you were actually in optimal zone, and that's what she aims for during races. Even though she's always striving, to keep her A1C under 6, she's trying to hang out in the high 100s during races.
That's really interesting. I did not know that.
I think you nailed it,
Yeah,
actually. Very,
unknowingly I did.
yeah, I think you
I
went total pro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I made it through those first few miles, but then I think it was around mile 12. I have to shout her out. I ran into one of my teammates. Her name was Mickey. Mickey's awesome. She lives with type 1 as well, and she's a mom. And I needed a mom at that moment. She really just like took my hand and she ran the rest of the race with me. Like she was not gonna leave my side. And she's run marathons and she like easily could have just gone off without me, but she stayed with me and she made sure I was okay. And then when I started to cramp up, she was there with electrolytes and she was like, drink this. And she was helping me because she had all this experience that I didn't really. I think I lost some brain cells that day, like because of the adrenaline and how excited I
Yeah,
was.
of
You just like
course.
black out to everything. And so she was giving me electrolytes and she was telling me like how to kick my feet when your legs are cramping instead of like I guess really muscling on your feet. She was like kick them out and let your legs kind of flop and stuff and it saved me ultimately because at first I was like oh, I'm cramping right now. How am I going to get there, you know? How am I going to finish?
Wow.
I do want to throw one thing about carb loading in. Um, and everyone should do their own research, but carb loading does not look the same for women as it does for men. So, like for women, when you try to carb load, you don't get that super intense like uptick. What works better for women typically is if you increase your calories altogether. So it's not, you don't want to just replace your fat and your protein with carbs, like
Mm,
having a spaghetti dinner. You want to increase all your calories across the
Okay.
board. And yeah, it also has to do with our hormones too and where we are in our hormonal cycle as
And
well.
we
And
need
then
more fat
obviously,
than men too,
yeah, you
right?
would want like the day before the race, you want to keep your fiber and your fat like next to nothing.
Oh, that's really interesting. I had a ton of pizza the day before, so I don't know if I succeeded there.
Yeah, my go-to pre-race meal the night before is pizza. I just started getting it without cheese. I know most people don't like that, so
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that, but kudos to you if it works.
but yeah, so women are different than men,
Okay, interesting.
which
So
we
I
are.
have some insulin questions. How did you see, from the day Tiana was like, get in on this? How did you, and then, a couple months into your training to marathon day, how did your basic insulin needs change? Like your background and your total daily insulin?
It definitely decreased. I can't give you an exact number because this was a few years ago now, but I know that they significantly decreased because I just was not as active, right? So let's think in the middle of my training, I'd have 3 short runs during the week, and then on the weekend I would do a long run. So, or maybe it was 3 to 4 short runs, but that's could be right. A run could be anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours to then eventually like 3 hours because I'm not a speedy snail. I am a slow snail. So the things were taking me longer, but I was just my body was not used to being for active for so long, I think, and that's really where I saw the decrease in my daily insulin needs and my basal rates came down for when I started training. Like my get back into running training was the first portion of that, probably from like April to July, and then July is when like the real marathon training started in the app. I'd say across all of those months it came down. I don't know if maybe it was like 10 to 15 units at least, probably more, but
10 to 15 unit decrease?
yeah, in like my
Yeah. Okay.
basal.
I want people to hear that.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
That's big.
significant.
That's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. And I think too, there probably was a change, of course, in my diet because I wanted to feel and fuel properly. And I think maybe I was taking better care of my diet in
Okay.
general because
And eating
of,
cleaner.
yeah.
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 Yeah. And I mean, I just want to point out that like you didn't have to actually get all the way to a marathon to see that much of a decrease in your basal. Like
No,
it was
and
just
yeah, and honestly, I think now my goal, like, and now my primary exercise routine is I walk in the mornings for about an hour, and
awesome.
sometimes I'll do other stuff like at night, but usually it's every day I'm gonna walk in the morning for an hour, and I've noticed just even recently, if I don't make it an hour or I don't go at all, I see my blood sugars change, and it stinks, but it's like I know it's that exercise and the
You see it that day. Yeah.
yeah, or like that night, right? The effects we
Yeah. That
know
afternoon.
carry
Yeah.
on for so long, and it has a
Hmm.
massive impact. So, if
Yeah.
anybody takes anything from this, you don't have to run a marathon, you don't have to run all of these miles, you could just
No.
walk and you'll see the difference.
Yeah. If I miss my morning cardio session, which is only 30 minutes long, or 20 minutes if I'm jogging sometimes, I need twice as much insulin for lunch.
Wow. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's you're walking or jogging, then you're jump roping. So you exercise longer than that in the morning.
Well, yeah, I'm walking. Who
She's
invited
like,
her?
"You're wrong."
Listen, I'm
I
walking 2 miles and then I'm either jumping rope 30 minutes or jogging 2 miles.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
doing both.
Yeah. So
yeah.
you are doing
But
more than you
still,
are giving yourself
if
credit
I
for.
if I miss just the jumping rope, I need twice as much insulin for lunch. I never miss
That's
the
where I was
walk
going.
because
Thank you.
yes, never miss the walk because you've got to walk your dogs, people. Walk your dogs.
Yes,
And
walk your
walk yourself
dogs
too.
and
Walk
yourself.
yourself, but definitely walk your dogs. Yes.
Right. And if
Okay,
you have a
cool.
cat, put it in a backpack pack and
But
walk.
yeah, I love those things. They're so
Or
cute.
a wagon. There's some people that have their
Yeah.
cat in a wagon in my
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yeah. Okay, so Erica, if somebody is listening and they're like,
I have
and we
some.
can remove the whole, you have a question,
I do.
Tara? Oh,
Before we
okay.
go,
Okay. I know
I just
she can
want to
tell
know
that
that.
I'm like, go ahead,
Yeah, I
Tara.
know where you're going.
Yeah.
I'm totally all in here. So, what is your like? What was your favorite pre-run snack? Like, what worked best for you? Did you have a pre-run snack? Like, what primed you?
Oh, okay. So I actually really, really love the um I what is the brand? Oh no, I'm blanking. They're the Stroop waffles that are like the energy.
Yes, I
It's like
see
a
them.
yellow packaging, and they come in all different flavors. They're so good.
Oh, honey stinger?
Yes, the honey stinger, the little Stroop waffles are so
Yeah.
good, and they're yeah, I love those, and they weren't crazy on my blood sugar.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Nice.
yes, I love those. So that's probably my number one snack.
Nice. We have some made in Vermont that are made with maple syrup instead of honey. Same concept. So if you
Oh,
like maple syrup, we need to get you some of
that
those.
sounds really good.
Untapped. It's
That
untapped maple or
Untapped.
untapped something.
that
They're
sounds good.
amazing. Yeah. What about like during your run? Were you strictly goose or would you have some waffles or
I would carry waffles. I would carry goos like the is it GU? Is that the company? I think it's GU. Though somebody recommended those to me and I started having those. I would get the caffeinated ones because
yeah.
I need caffeine. So
Yep.
I was also a big like um I can't drink a full one, but I have like Celsius packets, so I would drink half of a packet just to kind of give me a little bit of a boost of energy before I would run. And yeah, and then
For
water, of
me,
course.
that caffeine would introduce a whole nother mess that would affect my blood sugar because caffeine, especially in the afternoon, spikes my blood sugar like 100 points.
So I
And
was
it's
primarily always running in the morning,
okay.
like 99% of the time, because my training, right, went through the summer and it's hot in the summer and I did not want to run,
Mhm.
like in the morning heat or the afternoon heat. I was like early morning. Like I would start waking up at 5 a.m. and be like, okay, we're gonna go run however many miles I needed to do like early before the sun kind of came up. But yeah, the caffeine didn't bother me as much as you'd think it did. It just didn't.
Yeah. And
Okay.
maybe with all the other stuff going on with the adrenaline and all, like I definitely do caffeine when I run for sure. Like I
Yeah,
alternate between like a caffeinated packet to a non-caffeinated packet,
yeah.
depending on how far.
I think it really made a difference for me for in terms of just like energy level. I have like I think Ginger knows, but I have Hashimoto's as well. So like my energy levels and my fatigue can be interesting, especially like running all this running, right? And there's like chatter about like over exercising and how that can impact your fatigue and your brain fog and all those things. And I didn't really experience anything, I think, in terms of it negatively impacting like all of those things, but sometimes I would notice that I'm like maybe it's just a general fatigue though because my body wasn't used to running so much and then, all of a sudden I'm like at my long runs and they're 16 plus miles. I had never done that before. But there was definitely times where I think I needed the caffeine because of just like an extra layer of being tired that was given to me that I have no control over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I hear you say 16 miles, I'm thinking about how much time that takes. How did
Yeah,
you
it took
work
me a
that
long
into your
time.
schedule? Yeah,
I would get
that's a
up so
lot of
early. I
hours.
would get up at
Mm,
4 a.m. if I had to.
wow.
Yeah,
But there's something like so amazing. This is like one of my things that I remember. Like I love the training part over the race. Like
yeah, me too, me too. The journey.
yeah, and it's like each time you do a training run, you like check it off and you're like, I did that. Or, like
Yeah,
that's the part. And I would get it like if I would go early or if it was like bad weather or cold, I always had like this picture in my head like I am out here doing this and other people are either not awake yet or having their first cup of coffee and like there was just something that worked in my brain of like I'm doing this and most people are not at this
it's
time.
it's so true. Honestly, it's so true. And there was a couple training runs I had that I'll never forget. My longest one actually, which was I think 20 miles, my dad like met me at a coffee shop after and he like brought me home because I didn't do a loop. I just like ran. I was still living at home and I just ran and I ended somewhere near a coffee shop I love. And we had coffee and like breakfast together and it was so nice. It was like 9 a.m. and all these people had just woken up and I was like dying and my feet were falling
You
off.
just ran 20 miles. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but it was yeah, I remember the feeling of accomplishment and I remember even after I ran like 10 miles, I was like, what in the world is going on? This is crazy. I still didn't call myself a runner. And yeah, it was just, yeah, it really, that I think like moments like that just carry you through your training, really, and they make you just want to keep doing it.
Do you have any lingering injuries as a result?
No, thankfully, all my toenails are back to normal. Um,
Good.
so yeah, my biggest thing was my toenail, like a couple of my toenails, like basically almost fell off after the race. I know that's crazy, but that was the thing. And I was sore for a good probably like 2 weeks after, but no, knock on wood, like serious injuries other than that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Do you know they say, so before I ever ran a marathon, I think I was running like, 5, 10 Ks or halves, right? And I remember talking to one of my clients at the time, and she was a medical student. And she's like, "You're not going to believe what I just learned today, Tara Mayo." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "We did a study and we measured the enzymes in someone who just had a heart attack and who just ran a marathon, and the level of damage is the same."
That's so scary.
I remember saying to her, "I am never going to run a marathon for that exact reason."
And then you did like a bazillion and a whole bunch
And
of
then I
worse
did like
things
Yeah,
in
I
a
was gonna
a
marathon.
year
say.
later.
Yeah, and the ultras. I mean, the weather guy, there's a weather guy in our area that was famous, and he was a marathon runner for years and years and years, and then he had like blockages, and he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Remember Gary
Yep.
Sadowski? Yeah.
Gary,
Terrible.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, anyway, not not that that has anything to do with him
Doesn't,
running
it
marathons.
doesn't mean you shouldn't run a marathon.
I
Yeah,
agree.
no, it's just it just doesn't mean it makes you, invincible, right?
And
But
that's why you're like, I thought of that because of your recovery, because you do have to take some time to recover and
Yeah.
treat yourself well. And did you do anything special for your recovery, like a spa day or a massage or?
So I was very lucky during my whole training. I had a massage membership, and I would go see Peggy once a month, and it was amazing. And she knew what was going on. I also used to go to acupuncture, which I really loved, and my acupuncturist was a runner, so she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and I was like, "Great, do all the things." Um, but yeah, I had been going for massages, so that was great. But I think I probably went the week after or something. Once I felt less sore, I could go back to her.
Yeah. I have a two-part question, and then Ginger, you can take it away. My two-part question is, what piece of advice would you give to someone that's thinking about running a marathon, that doesn't exercise very much? And then potentially, like, what piece of advice would you give to somebody about um, learning how to manage their diabetes and wanting to take on a big goal like this?
Yeah. Okay, so my advice for anyone who wants to run a marathon or any kind of race is you can do it. I know that's not really advice, but you can absolutely do it. Even if you think it's completely off the table, you haven't moved enough, or you haven't run or walk or anything. I was thinking the same exact thing that you are thinking. And once I put my mind to it, once I started practicing meaning, doing my runs, stretching, taking care of my body, and just like taking in all the resources and the people out there that have done this so many times and try to learn from them, and trial and error, I was able to do it. And I feel exactly what you're feeling. Just know that you can do it. You just have to get on a plan. You have to practice. You got to stick to it, but you can do it. And for anybody who is running with diabetes, I think my best advice for figuring all that out again is going to really be taking your time, paying attention to what's going on with your body during different runs, running times, how you're feeling, whatever else is going on. Just like you manage diabetes every day and there's a million things you have to juggle, look at it like that, and now you just have to add in a whole new sort of factor, which is, of course, the exercise, the hormones that might be coming from the running, like the adrenaline, and your hydration and things like that. So look at it as another thing that you want to tackle with type 1 diabetes, and you can do it. You just have to plan, write things down, again, see what your patterns are, and then adjust, and you'll be okay. You'll get there.
and learn. I mean, be open to learning. Like, okay, if you're going low every day, that tells you something. It doesn't mean you're doomed to go low every day. It means you need to change something in your
Yes.
dosing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's okay if it's hard at first. Nobody's going to expect you to be perfect because you're doing a whole new thing, and you're putting your body through something huge. But yeah, be open to that and you'll go far.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Should we give a little shout out to Blue Circle Health? Can
Yeah.
you tell everybody about Blue Circle Health?
Yes, I'd love to. So I am marketing coordinator at Blue Circle Health, and Blue Circle Health is a free clinical care education and support program for adults living with type 1 diabetes. So what that means is essentially we were created to fill the gap in the healthcare system that people with type 1 diabetes are not getting based on what we know that people with type 1 diabetes need. So Blue Circle Health can offer a million different things to you depending on what you need or want. The program is completely customized to you. It's 6 months long. And again, we're there to be a support system. So we're meant to act as like a supplemental program to your already existing care. We don't want to replace your doctor. We just want to give you the additional support that you need, whether that's mental health support, if you need a community to engage with. If you do need an endocrinologist, we have endocrinologists. If you want to talk to a diabetes educator, we have diabetes educators. If you want to talk about your insurance, we have people that can help you navigate it. So there's a list of different things we can offer at Blue Circle Health, and whatever it is, we hope we can help you, whatever you need.
It's literally all the pillars of surviving and thriving with type 1 diet. Like literally you can meet with an endo, you can meet with diabetes educator, dietitian, mental health, and it's free for real. I know that you
Yes.
guys get a lot of skepticism on that.
Yes.
It's free for real. And there's certain states you're not in yet, but you guys are working so hard to get in more and more states.
Yes, we're in 11 states right now, but we are moving quickly. And I can tell you there will be several states in the next few months. And then next year we have, of course, another handful that we hope to be in. I believe the goal is to be in 20 to 25 states by the end of next year.
Okay.
So
Cool. And
we're
it's all
moving.
virtual, but by in the state, meaning like you're approved to operate with people who live in that state.
Exactly, yes. So our services are all virtual. Our clinicians just have to be licensed in each state that we can provide care in. So that's why it's kind of a slower rollout. A lot of that takes time, and there can be bumps in that process. But yes,
Yeah.
completely
Cool.
free
Okay.
and virtual. It's free, I promise. There's nothing. There's no
It's legit.
hidden
It's
fee.
legit. Yep. Circlehealth.org.
Yes, bluecirclehealth.org.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Erica, thank you for sharing your marathon journey. Are you training for another one or?
I'm not right
No,
now.
no.
I ran a half.
Okay.
I think half marathons might be my bread and butter.
Okay, cool.
Sweet spot.
Yeah, I think they might be my thing. It's the point where it's like I enjoy it and I'm not miserable at the end, I'm just
Right, your
kidding.
toenails are still on.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot one thing. We didn't talk about runner's high. Do you remember like your first runner's high, that euphoria?
Yes, and that was definitely when I was early in my training. Probably when I was doing like 5 to 7 miles, I think is when I really started to feel it, and then I got addicted to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's like that pivot point, like when you were giving that
Yes.
advice, what to do, like just get out there, start, stay consistent. Once you get that first little euphoric runner's high, you'll be like, this is why I do it, and you keep going back.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot that contributes to that, right? Like how you feel, and the more you train and your body gets conditioned to running, I feel like the runner's high is almost easier, it comes more naturally.
Cool. Well, thank you. That's awesome. And maybe in like 6 months we'll have you on again and you can say, I am a runner, and you won't question it.
I know, it's just a weird thing. It just doesn't feel real, I think.
I know. I've never ran more than I guess as a teenager I did, but I run most of the time like 2 miles, and like I'm not a runner. It's only 2 miles, but it's this silly thing we have in our heads of
Yeah.
what makes you a runner or not.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Erica. We love you, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for having me.
Yeah.